Welcome back. And now, as I told you in last video, means you will see the deployment descriptor file. So your deployment descriptor file is web.xml file, and here, as I showed you, there was the many information was there. So all information you have to utilize in your web.xml file like this here. The same concept I have created there, and I explain in detail the servlet tag and servlet mapping tag. So how request will come to URL pattern first, and from URL pattern it will jump to servlet name. Same servlet name, it will search inside the servlet tag, and based on that it will go to servlet class. So same explanation is again here. Hope now it is very easy to understand after the demo. This is the reason first I didn't explain this, because it can become a very complex concept. Now it is very easy to understand. And here the same explanation how to create HTML file, and in HTML file what I have written there means I'm calling here my servlet name. After that, here not necessary to write this complete URL, you directly write the servlet name. And if you are not writing any method in your client page, then default method will be your get method. And if you want to write a post method, then you have to write here method equal to post, as I showed in my demo. So now this is the client page, HTML page, and yes, hope you are comfortable. In the same way, this is your servlet page. So in servlet page here, I'm ready to take data. So here, if you will see, in place of service method, I'm using here do get method. So do get and do post. If your request is coming through get, you should use do get. But if you don't want to use do get or do post, you use the service. Service automatically will recognize and will take your request. So now here to take request, you are using request.get parameter, taking the box name, and you are here servlet is taking your data. Now you are setting the response content type. After that, you are using the print writer, and then you are ready to write the response, the same response, yes, what I have written there. And after that, you are getting the result. And after that, finally, when you are deploying, means when you are running your application, it automatically deployed. Here, same line, I select run on server, and finally, yes, I was able to get my HTML page, and based on the HTML page, I was getting my answer. So here, see, first I am running my HTML page. So yes, my HTML page was there, and after getting the HTML page, when I'm entering some data there, when I'm going to enter some data, after entering the data I will enter, you are getting here your final result. So already in demo I already showed, so not necessary to get into the depth of that. Now come to the one important point here, life cycle of a servlet. So in life cycle, as I explained, there are the three phases: init, service, destroy. During the demo, I explained that here your initialization phase means it is like a constructor. Here all the initial value you will provide to your servlet, and inside the service phase you will take the request from user, and after that you will give response to user. After providing the service page, it will finally destroy, and after destroying, it will reach to does not exist state of your or this one servlet. So here, if you will see the complete explanation already, since I already have given what init will do. So init there, all the initial parameters, the same work what you are doing in constructor of your core Java, same work you are doing here also. Means you can create the database connection there inside the init method. You can initialize some variable there. So that variable will be available inside the entire servlet, and you will be able to use that. In the same way, if you are going to use here your service method, so for service method, as I told you, use the service method directly, not necessary to go with other methods. So inside service, duty is what it is having two parameter. One will take request, second will give response, and based on that, you are creating the code of servlet, and finally you are getting the result. And the last phase is destroy. After giving response to client, that servlet will enter into the destroy phase, and that servlet will destroy. So this is one way can say it is a complete life cycle of your servlet. Here are the few notes you should keep in your mind, like depending on how you register your servlet with the web server. It can be created either when a client first references a URL that corresponds to the servlet or when the web server is first started. So overall means up to this stage, it was very easy concept. Since with demo, it became a very easier for you. The next part, what I have to deal with, what you will see probably next week. So there, my main focus will be the different context, means how to deal with container. Means if any data you have to store to container, then how to store. If you have to store to session, how to store. If you have to store in request, then how to store. What is the purpose, why to store your data inside the context, inside the session, inside the request. So these all detailed discussion we will see. But here one important small concept I can show you. It means if you want to store some data on the container, container means bucket, keep in your mind. So if any information is available on the bucket, then all the servlet which are inside the bucket, they can use that information. So one servlet can store data on the bucket, means on the container. How they will store data on the container? With the help of set attribute method. So here I have given, you want to share some data for entire web application. So in that scenario, that data you have to share via the servlet context. And how to share with the help of set attribute. Practically, don't worry, I will create this context and will show you practically how to write. After that, here any servlet, what will be inside that servlet can utilize, can use that data. Here you have your suppose scope of your servlet. You are having a servlet interface name. So in interface you are having the servlet config method. As I told you, servlet config, using this it is configuring all the local variable of a particular servlet. Using the get servlet info method, you can get the information about any servlet. With the help of set attribute, you can set any data to the container or to the session. Using the get attribute, any servlet can take the data back from the container. Practically, I will show you how these all are going to happen here. So this practical part means how to call the context, means how to share data with context and how to take data from context. So I will show you practically. You have not to worry, because this time you are able to understand how to store your data, how to take the data from the HTML page to the server page, and from there how to return response. And later, when I will come to this session management, this is a very important part of our J2E. So session management part also, I will show you in that Facebook example, or in any online shopping cart example I will take. So only I am creating a ground for my next week video. Is there how I will use my session concept, how to implement the session concept, what is the purpose of the session concept, and how to utilize. After that, here important point, you are using the servlet exception. So here servlet exception is child of exception class, and here you are having unavailable exception, that is child of your servlet exception. So any exception it will come if you are looking for any servlet, and if servlet is not available, then this particular exception class will come, means this servlet not found. And if anyone asks you to return the error message to client, like you are returning response dot, till now you have written like a response dot means out dot println, out dot println. So if anyone asks you to return error back to the client, then you have a send error method. So with the help of send error, you are returning response to client like a response dot send error. If you will see like this, sorry, the resource you are requesting is not available, like this. So here in this way you are returning response to your client. In the same way, you can set the status code of the response like a 200. 200 code means successful response. So that code also you can return like a response dot set status, and here you are setting the status OK.